24-hour racing doesn't come much tougher than the Strathpuffer. Set on a technical mountain bike course in the Highlands of Scotland in January, riders are faced with minus temperatures, snow, ice, mud, wind, rain, hail. Oh, and a minimum of 17 hours of complete darkness. After supporting this bonkers event as part of the Exposure Lights team, I found myself strangely drawn to its madness. I can't explain why, but something inside me just said, you need to do this. So, with the backing of a brand that owes its very existence to 24-hour racing, I found myself entered into the 2024 race as a solo rider. I've done a fair bit of racing, but never anything like this, so I thought I'd begin my preparation by sitting down with Alasdair Lawton, one of the 4 people responsible for putting on this iconic event. It's time to find out what lies ahead. Alasdair, first and foremost, thank you very much for giving me the time to have a chat about Strathpuffer.
No problem.
I went to the event last year with Exposure Lights, obviously supporting the event, and I could see through all the mud people's grinning faces, and I thought this event just looks fantastic. I've got to have a go. So I was extremely excited to receive the confirmation email to say that I'm in as a solo rider for 2024. Tell me, Alasdair, what have I let myself in for? What is Strathpuffer all about?
So the Strathpuffer started back in 2006. It was originally done for the Adventure Show. They approached a colleague of mine, Steve McDonald, and said, we've got this contract with the BBC to do 12 events over a calendar year, and nothing happens in January. Can you just put on a wee cycle race? We'll come and film it. Jobs are good, and that's it. So, oh, why not? We'll just do that. Then Steve and I got talking. Inevitably, I think beer was involved at some point. I thought, well, if we're going to do this, we may as well do it properly. So that was at the time when things like the Mayhem was running down in England. Well, let's do it 24 hours then. And so we did. And it was meant to be a one-off. It was meant to be just one event filmed, shut up shop and gone home. And that's what we did. We did this event and people turned up with tents. And the first event was definitely by the seat of our pants. We had no idea what was going on or how it was going to work or what people were going to do overnight or what they were going to eat and all sorts of things. But it worked. And we thought, we got away with it. I thought, right, great, that's great. And then we said, right, what about next year? We went, what do you mean next year? This is a one-off. No, you got to do it again. And here we are 16 years later, keeping going. And the event has changed out of all recognition from that first time. We have learned so much. The lessons learned out of the first one were incredible. The lists and lists of paper that we wrote and things about how we'd organize it, even basic things like safety and things, it all changed. Everything's changed. Now it's really, I think it's a really professionally run event. We have risk analysis, we have all sorts of things going on in the background that no one ever sees. But it's just a great event. And it's grown up largely around the camaraderie that you see at the event. That's why people come back. It is a joyous thing to be part of. People love coming and doing it. The support you get from other teams, from the solos get from each other and from the quads and everybody else. It's just a great thing to be part of. Oh, and it's 24 hours, and it's dark for 17 hours, and it's in the Highlands, and it's in winter. But apart from that, it's minor details.
I think you've touched upon the camaraderie being obviously a major factor, but why is this event so popular?
I think because of all those factors. It becomes as much a mental challenge as a physical one. Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. It is proper mountain biking, and the riders that come love that. It's not riding on a grassy field. It is proper mountain biking. You need to be able to ride a bike properly in reasonable conditions at night. And no matter how good your lights are, I know USC good lights are very good, but you still need to be able to do it in the dark. And people like that. People, I think, come for as much to almost. It sounds a bit cliche, but it's not as much finding yourself, but seeing how far you can push yourself, seeing where you can go beyond just what you do normally. So at 3 a.m. when it's lashing down with hailstones, and you've got to get out and get on your bike and ride 12K, that takes something within a person to go and do that. It's not something you do every day. It's not something you do, maybe more than once, twice in your life. But it is that, and it is there. And there's another 1,000 people doing it with you. So it gives you that confidence to go and do it. Everyone's out there. When we first started it, it used to go very quiet at night. So the graveyard shift between maybe 1 and 3 or 4 in the morning, there'd be, I don't know, a dozen, maybe 20 teams out doing it. Now it's everyone keeps going. It's become we don't get teams that turn up that go to sleep most of the night. We get a few, and that's fine. They have great fun. They turn up, do a few laps, have a few beers, get some sleep, get up, do a few more, and we love that too. But most teams nowadays will turn up very well organized with a very good campsite, and they will put a full shift in. And it is about going beyond what you think you are normally capable of doing.
So I suppose my next question is it possible for a mere mortal such as myself to do this thing solo for 24 hours?
Absolutely. You mustn't underestimate it, but with some training and some preparation and some support behind you, yes. I mean, and I think the people that turn up, we could pick out the probably 5 or 6 teams in each category that are going to be competitive, but everyone else is there to do the event, and that will range from people who do 3, 4, 5 laps, maybe even 2 laps, some people, to those that knock out 25, 26, 27. So, and the range makes it the event it is. It isn't elitist at all. And even if you're doing 2, 3 laps, you'll still get the same support. You still get the top riders coming past you, flying past you, saying, "You're all right, mate." And that's what makes it, because there's a whole range from people who we had the 24-hour world champion at one point doing it a few years ago, to people who turn up just to want to be part of it, who've seen the videos on YouTube and think, "Yeah, I'd like to have a go at that." And they may just turn up and do 3 or 4 laps, but they've been part of it, and they go away thinking, "I've been part of the puffer."
Okay, well that's reassuring to hear. That's reassuring to hear. I'm obviously hoping to be competitive, but ultimately it is about being there and experiencing it, and kind of hopefully finishing with the grin on my face that I saw on so many people's faces when we were there. Obviously, I'm fortunate that through Exposure Lights, I'm very well sorted in the lighting department, so that 17 hours of darkness poses less of a worry for me. But what advice would you have? Obviously, you've mentioned training and things like that. What advice would you give to someone taking part in their first Strathpuffer?
I would bring every single piece of cycling clothing that you own. Because if it's wet and cold, you want to be trying to get reasonably dry stuff on as often as you possibly can, just for your own personal comfort. Then I would say make sure you've done some decent training, and make sure you've practiced riding at night, especially on some reasonably technical stuff. So get out in the woods and do some wee drops and some rock gardens and things in the dark, so you know that all works. If you can get the support of a base camp, absolutely. That makes it far more doable. If you've got someone there when you come in to fettle your bike, to maybe put some food in your hand and make sure everything's sorted out, and tell you what your times are looking like, and then even pushing you out when it's time to go again. Someone who says to you, "Right, off you go," as opposed to having to rely on yourself to make yourself do that. Having someone there to give you that extra bit of a push definitely helps. And come with an attitude to enjoy it. I know you want to be competitive, and that's important, but you need to come and enjoy it. Even Keith Forsyth that comes along has won it, I think, 4 or 5 times now as a solo. He always turns up with a big grin on his face. He looks forward to it. He looks forward to the whole thing. So don't get too bogged down in the whole competitive thing. Enjoy it as well, and the doing well will come out of that. And the only thing, if you want to be competitive, is keep going. Don't stop. The teams that do well are those that just do lap after lap after lap, and just keep going round and round. If you end up stopping 10, 15 minutes after each lap, that suddenly builds into a couple of hours, and people are lapping at the same time. You're having your extra cup of tea or whatever. They're halfway around the lap. So if you want to be competitive, the secret is to just keep going out. Eat as much as you need to, and get going again.
Okay, brilliant. That's very, very useful advice. Thank you. I will take that all on board. And I think enjoying it is the key bit there as well, isn't it? That's the key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question. What does Exposure Lights bring to the Strathpuffer?
It's great to have you guys at the event, and everyone relies on you. I mean, I think you've been there since day one. You're part of the fixtures and fittings. It wouldn't be the same. People need to get their lights charged. People like to see you there. They don't want to come and the service you offer in terms of charging any light is simply brilliant. And just having a professional organisation like you linked to the puffer is great for our credibility as well. I mean, like I say, it's dark for 17 hours. So lighting is absolutely critical to the event. And people like to see, obviously the USC kit is bomb-proof, and people like to see that. And I'm sure it does you good as well to be linked to an event like ours, in terms of if you want to be part of the toughest mountain bike event in the UK at night, you need the best lights, and that's what you provide.
Brilliant. Alasdair, thank you very much for that.
That's
Really
no problem at all.
appreciate your time. And
No, it's no good.
I look forward to seeing you in January when it'll be
Yeah,
cold.
and we really appreciate the support that USC have given us over the years. It just the whole event runs around a core number of people. So the catering people, yourselves, Winthrop with their beer, the marquee, and all the marshal things. We run it as 4 of us run it. So we need to be able to rely on people. So I know USC turning up, light and charging sorted. Red Poppy's turning up, catering is sorted. Winthrop turning up, the beer and the bar, it's all sorted. North of Scotland marquees, I don't have to worry about it. Just book the date. They'll put it up, and it all makes it doable for the team of 4 of us, because there's a huge amount happens in the background that no one ever sees, which is why it looks so easy at the time. And at the time, we just seem to be strolling around thinking, "Oh, this is not good," because we've done all the work in advance. And people like you coming along make that doable. So thank you very much from us for turning up every year. It's brilliant.